Morning all. How are you doing? Morning Ian, Christian, Amy, Yotko, Joe, even. Joe, Martin, JC, Mumo. Smash the like. Don't be a bum. Hit that thumb. Gregors, Danny, Mark, Steve, Neo, Virginia, Astro, Monkey, Henricus, David, Alan Bay, Kennedy. Morning. How are we all doing? John says, smack that thumb. Morning, Sarah, Antonios. Right. It's non-farm payroll day. So today will be dead this morning, in all likelihood. So yesterday we had PMIs coming out as positive for the US. Didn't really do an awful lot. We had the Bank of England rate coming out. Didn't really do an awful lot. We had FOMC this week. Didn't really do an awful lot. It's just the new norm, not really doing an awful lot. We undid basically yesterday. Well, the FOMC move undid itself, and then we undid the spike of the FOMC move yesterday. So US came back to where it dropped to. The pound, we had a big rally, all undone. So yeah, the news doesn't do anything at the moment. It just makes it go up and down. So nothing really new, is there? So morning, evil. So basically, the upshot of yesterday's Bank of England stuff, if you weren't here in the live room yesterday afternoon, very much the same as FOMC. We are putting the rate drop back potentially 1 or 2 months. So everything seems to be looking like May now, not March. But it's all going to be data driven. So if unemployment skyrockets, it will come down faster. If CPI comes down too fast, it will come down faster. So it's all very much still as we were focusing on these two columns moving forward. So the change in these is what is going to drive those down. So at the moment, we've got potentially 3 months worth of stabilization, which means nothing should really get squeezed too hard for more than sort of 3 or 4 weeks at a time, which is good for us. But obviously, we need to wait and see what the market kind of does. It'll only take one word out of place from Powell or Bailey or someone to kick it into full-on squeeze mode. So we need to be a bit careful, but it doesn't look like anything's going to happen for a few months. So today we've got everything happening at 1:30. So we'll have a look at that this afternoon in the live stream, see what that was. Unemployment rate is forecast to slightly go up. From what Powell said on Wednesday, obviously this is one of the things that they're very, very focused on. The fact that he's said there that we're probably going to go back to May for a rate drop tells me that he's factored in this increase already. So if we get a 3.8, the market shouldn't really react particularly strong to it. If it does, it'll probably undo the move. So they're certainly expecting this to go up. If it comes down, we may well get a little bit more of a bull move. But we'll wait and see. So that's coming out at 1:30. Then we've got revised University of Michigan at 3. That's very hit and miss. If that spikes massively, they may well use that to undo it an hour and a half later. So we'll see. So just bear that in mind if you're trading the European indices. The US indices will likely go a little bit mental at 1:30, which will, with sector purchasing, drive the indices in Europe as well. Overnight news. We've had Australian housing finance. Apple had a miss. We had massive moves last night on after-market news. We've got 4 minutes to the open. So this basically earnings. These AMCs basically are after-market releases. These are pre-market releases. Yeah. So before the opening bell, after the opening bell. Yeah. It's becoming, and it has been quite common for the last couple of years, for them to squeeze these out before the closing bell. Last night, Amazon and Meta released before the closing bell. They're not meant to. It's done for a reason. Stop crazy volatility in the markets. But as you will see from the NASDAQ, Amazon and Meta decided literally just before the closing bell, 20 minutes or half an hour or something, to go, you know what? Screw it. So we had 200 ADR moves yesterday. So far, there's nothing happened in Globex. We're totally flat. So that all came out last night, naughtily. So Globex is dead. We'll be waiting for the news today before we probably do anything else. But if anything today, we will probably find we get a grind to the upside on the US indices, which will help the European markets as well. So we'll see what happens. But great day yesterday. Lovely loss recovery on the S&P. The Dow was a clean break. NASDAQ was a loss, locked in hedge. The other two indices in Europe were both clean breaks as well. So very nice, profitable day yesterday. So that's news overnight. There wasn't a lot else apart from obviously the holy crap. Meta shares jumped 14%. Why can't I go back any further? Financial juice is playing up. So as you can see, there's nothing else overnight. Hamas officials, we cannot say current stage of negotiations is 0. And at the same time, we cannot say that we have reached an agreement. What a pointless statement. We cannot say that we're negotiating. We can't say that we're not negotiating. And we can't say that we have reached an agreement. Basically, we can't say anything. Why bother saying anything? Pointless. Right. Market's about to open. 50 seconds. We'll go over the FX in a bit. No ADRs so far today. So Europe, the Aussie session has been dead. Pre-markets been a little bit lively on the FTSE. DAX, that's way too tight. Not going to get a trade on the DAX today, I don't think. Oh yeah, maybe we will. Might just about get one on the DAX. That's going to be tight though. FTSE's rallying pre-market. 5 seconds. Morning, people I haven't said morning to. Peter, John, Evans. Excuse me. Yeah, so no trade on the DAX. 110 pre-market. Too tight. Too tiny. Look at that. Tiny. No movement. But look at that pre-market range. The entire pre-market range for the last hour. Haven't gone anywhere. So FTSE just taking the 5-minute pre-market today. So as you can see, we're in an absolute mess on the FTSE. We had that little rally, and since then we've just gone sideways for 4 days. We had a little bit of a drop. We undid that drop. We dropped again. Now we've undone that drop. So we're not going anywhere at all. So we rallied up there last week, and we're basically exactly the same spot. So no directional bias at all on the UK markets, and same for the DAX, basically. Totally sideways. Short FTSE. Yeah, dead. We have got a gap up situation on the DAX this morning. And the FTSE's done it already. So gap up on the DAX. So there is potential for a gap fill play today, which would be bearish. The FTSE has done its gap, basically, already. And it looks like it's going to hedge by the looks of things. So we'll see where we go. Morning, Dougal. I hate it when you drink cold water when you just brushed your teeth. Frozen mouth. 5-minute opening range on the DAX so far. Tapped straight into pre-market high. We haven't broken out of the pre-market range, so there won't... We will just about get a trade on that on the 5 minute. Yeah. So we get a 5 minute opening range break on the DAX today, which, looking by this rejection to the upside so far, looks like at the moment they're more interested in the gap fill play to the downside, but I don't think that's going to be 2R, is it? It's about 1.5 down to yesterday's high is about 1.5R on the 5 minute ORB, depending when that 5 minute candle closes. So got 2.5 minutes left yet. We'll just see what that decides to do. 87 watching, 27 likes. That's not acceptable, is it, Mumo? Or John will get angry, and you don't want to see John when he's angry. That's not John being angry. That's not John being angry. I haven't got angry, John, have I? Got pissed, John. Okay. So pull back up inside the pre-market on the DAX. So that's absolute indecision. We've got 1.5 minutes left, but that's real indecision today across all indices. So FOMC day is not FOMC day today. It's non-farm payroll day. So non-farm payroll day, unemployment claim day, unemployment rate day even, get it right, tends to be very, 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 very sideways. So we don't move in the morning usually because the market is waiting to see what happens with the unemployment rate, because obviously the unemployment rate is directly related to the interest rate, which is directly related to which way the currency goes. So we're waiting to see what happens with all this data before we put any big orders into the market. So this is why we get the move on the news, because the market's holding its orders back to wait to see which direction it really wants to push them in. So it's likely today we're just going to sit in rotation. So you probably won't find we get an ADR today. We'll just be sitting in rotation, quite possibly on this sort of thing inside yesterday's range. So watch yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows, previous day's highs and lows. Watch them for price action moves if you want to play intraday moves. But there's nothing anywhere near ADR yet today. We've got some weeklies. Obviously, we looked at these yesterday. They're probably already playing out. One sec. And RSIs are totally flat. So everything that we've got into on H1M5 mean reversions and the H4 entries, they're all starting to play out now. So there's nothing new to look at today on FX, and there's nothing from an intraday perspective either. So we'll go through all the positions that I'm in and everything on all the accounts in a minute. 5 minute opening range is in. So short on the FTSE. FTSE just about managed to close below the pre-market low, but no direction. So buyers and sellers not really in control at all there. Same here. No directional bias whatsoever. So this 5 minute candle, the opening range break for the 5 minute cash balance will be hopefully the direction we go. And it would be lovely if it was bearish and we came and did the gap fill. So 2R on the opening range today is just beyond the gap fill. So you want to watch price action around here just to see if they just complete that unfinished business and then drive off again. But certainly looks like it's dropping FTSE wise. So FTSE targets today, really. I mean, you got ADR to the downside, which is within yesterday's low and the previous day's low. So 125 ADR is your daily support levels. Upside, obviously, you're looking at the previous day's high, which is obviously pretty much a double or triple top on the day before. Ignore that because this isn't real pre-market data. So yeah, upside is the 2R break to the upside, and downside, obviously, that 2R and then flush down to the lows. But as you can see all we've done is we've entered into 2 days worth of volatility because we've had interest rate changes. We may well go back into contraction this morning, so we'll see what happens, but certainly got a downside break on. God, look at this DAX, nothing. Not playing with the DAX today, not feeling it. It's quite possible it won't go anywhere, but we'll see. So hit and miss, the indices at the minute. They're really hit and miss, especially on a day like today where we've got to wait for news. But so we've got 1.5 minutes left on this candle. We're inside bar at the moment. FTSE's nice break. Okay. Let's give it 1 more minute and then we're going to look at FX. Just see if we get that break on DAX. If the DAX is an inside bar, kind of tells us what's going on today, doesn't it? Nothing. Wouldn't expect much today. Morning, Champagne. Not going anywhere, is it? So up to you if you want to trade the DAX today, but the initial cash balance, there's no volume. 5 minutes afterwards, which is when the speculators tend to step in, there aren't any. So there's no volume today. So up to you if you want to trade it. Obviously, this can take off at any moment, but it could also just stay in rotation for the whole session until we get to the news. So the FTSE's not got any volume either. I'm quite surprised in this lack of volume this morning, considering we just had 2 of the biggest stocks in the universe announce massive earnings. There are no stocks, obviously, related to them in the European markets. So we're not doing anything, are we? So I'll come back to those in a minute, see if anything's happened. So yesterday, banks 0.62%. This is H1M5 mean reversion. What did I bank yesterday? First, pound yen, euro pound, and Aussie yen. So pound yen got out of another part of the short. So took another one off there because of the news, which is exactly the right decision. That would have gone into drawdown. So adding back on again. So that is the current position, which is the highest position, and we're pushing up. So be adding more up here again. Aussie dollar yen yesterday got out of very clean, easy move. So that was an H1 RSI extension, push back up into propulsion out. So I was worried a little bit because of this is a 2-day drop. So nice, quick, easy exit on that one. And it was euro pound, I think, wasn't it? Yeah. So euro pound, been stuck in this for ages, a couple of weeks now. Just not going anywhere. It's been grinding. One of these grindy, just not going anywhere pairs at the minute. So taken 2 off of this already. I took that one off yesterday. Again, the only reason it was taken off, as I put in the Telegram group and as I said yesterday morning, was because we had the news on the pound. There's no point in letting profit disappear as it would have done when you can bank it. So banked it. It was the right decision. Price came down. If price had gone up, so what? That position would have gone into profit. So added back on again this morning. We had a reversal alert this morning just after the swap with a massive spread. As you can see, I got filled there. Price was there. Spread was that big. Asia. Well, that's what happens. So in again. If we come back up, retest that high, I shall probably take it off again. Just, going nowhere. So just keep banking money. So that's what was banked yesterday. This morning, Aussie CAD is getting close to banking. So I haven't put a target on this one yet. So this was the H1M5 mean reversion entry yesterday. We're obviously coming down at the moment. This will be affected today on the Canadian dollar. So same rule applies today. Non-farm payroll 130. Anything I've got in profit on the Canadian dollar and the US dollar is coming off the table. This is Aussie dollar CAD. It's currently sitting in 0.2%. So that will be going down there if it's still flip-flopping around up here just before the news. Obvious target on this one is going to be up there, which is the propulsion gap, which has been retested 3 times now. So that's that accumulation break where they started that down leg. Added to it, added to it, added to it. So if we come back up to there and the market still wants short on this, they're going to re-add. So that's the obvious target upside wise. That's going to be about 0.4% profit, something like that. So we'll take that off up there if we get there. If you do want to hold positions over the news, obviously if we do get a 150 ADR spike, take it. Yeah. But just bear in mind, if it goes against you, you just lose it. So up to you. But, so that's all I've got bankable today. 4.2% drawdown. It's the yen pairs we know about. The yen pairs are going absolutely nowhere at the moment. So just sitting waiting. I'd like the US dollar to drop today. That would be lovely because I'm fully exposed to Canada short and I'm fully exposed to, well, I've only got one trade on the US, but I'm short. So roll on negative news today. Let's have a quick look at the indices. Short DAX just got in short look. Go on, DAX. You put that 5-minute candle in and it's going to be an hour and a half, isn't it, to get there. One of those mornings. So that's H1M5 mean reversion. As I said, there's no ADRs today. There's no RSIs today. So there's no new entries today at the moment. But obviously we've got the news, so that might tilt the market in our favor one way or the other. Swiss yen is currently on the move. Euro US dollars on the move. And pound US dollar. So we might get some shorts on pound or Euro US. We get a big move today off the news. Morning, Lisa one. AZ, if I've got 20k in the account but want the EA to trade as if it's 40k, how do I do that? Just double your risk. So if you're risking 0.1% over half an ADR, risk 0.2. And that's basically trading as if you've got double the amount of money, isn't it? Just up your risk. But obviously bear in mind, you're doubling your risk. Don't be surprised. The thing you've got to do is in your trade manager dashboard as well, put the starting balance in correctly as it should be. So this is a 30k account with 30k in it. If I was treating this as if it was a 60k account, I would be putting 60k in there. Yeah. So because you want the percentages to show as if it was a 60k account. That's the reason this is here, because I used to, well, I still do put percentages of my money in the brokerage, don't put it all in. So so you need to adjust your trade manager dashboard to the actual balance as well. Otherwise your percentage return is going to be different. But these work off account balances and things, so it's got to use your head. Really. Bear me one sec. Are your targets on H1M5 much higher than on H1 Hedge? What would you set these if you cannot exit manually? No, targets are targets, aren't they? Doesn't matter what strategy you're trading. Where you're looking for where price is going. Get out where price is going. Targets are targets. Can't say just because I'm trading a different strategy, I've got a different target. Target is where the price is going to go to. If you think price is going to go to there, that's where your target is. If you think price is going to go to there, that's where your target is. Doesn't matter how you get in, does it? That's where you think the bounce is going to be. Get out. Doesn't change. I target propulsion gaps. But if you're using the EA and you want to automate your exits, it's up to you. I mean, but there's so many ways to exit. With the H1 hedging strategy, you could say, I want to get out at the next reversal alert. So you could use the opposite reversal alert for an exit, because obviously you're going to get into a opposite trade with the hedging strategy. So you could use that as your exit criteria. But sometimes you'll find it's not the best thing to do. I mean, there's a whacking great propulsion gap coming up here. My targets are up there at the moment, but the only reason my targets are up there at the moment is because that's the long average, so I can't take it off here. There's no, I mean, it's entirely up to you. It's all based on money and what you can bank and stuff. Look, there's US dollar CAD there, sitting at quarter of a percent profit. I'm going to trail it. A 10 pip trailer on it because we've got news today. Yeah, you got to be able to adapt to stuff. Yeah, there's no one size fits all in trading with anything at all. This is why EAs don't work. Yeah, when you backtest something, you go and put it on a live account, and it gives you completely different results because what's happened there is never happening again. The EA will be curve fit to whatever the data was to give you a positive result. That result is never going to achieve itself again because this is different. Yeah, I'm getting this trailing stop on here for no other reason than there is money on the table and we've got US news at 1:30. So if you're going to push down ahead of the news, great, take me with you. If you're going to come up, get me out because there's news coming this afternoon. So you just, there is no, obvious target to the downside for this. But it could absolutely screen through it. But this is 0.3% profit right now. That will be somewhere in the region of 0.5, 0.6% profit. Ask yourself the question, are you happy with 0.5% in 2 days? Yes, take it. No, leave it. But when it does that, have the plan to deal with it. Yeah, you've got to bend yourself around what the market is doing when the market is doing it. Oh, you're kidding me. Again? Closing. Go on, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. If you go bull in any shape or form, though, I'm closing you. Love them, brokers. Hey, it's beyond his target. Quick, spread him. Thanks for subscribing, Dixit. Welcome aboard. Nah, taking off. So TP1 hit. Actually hit, but not closed. Manually taking it off because they're arseholes. Now you watch it fly through that level. So second position trailing at 2R on the FTSE. DAX not quite got out of there yet. So yesterday on ADR reversals, banked 0.5%, banked 1% so far today, 0.94 drawdown. New Zealand CAD is getting on its way there. So yesterday closed out. What did I close out yesterday? God, this is all yesterday. Oh no, it's not and today. So pound yen. So completely closed out the pound yen yesterday, out and flat. That was that position and that position. They were the last two of the pound yen. So lots already closed out on this. So a nice profitable trade on the ADR reversals side of things. Same trade as on H1M5, obviously, just different entries, so different amount of money. Aussie dollar, US dollar. That was a quick in and out ADR reversal. So ADR, M5 reversal out on propulsion. That's gone much further. Aussie dollar yen, same stuff pretty much as we just looked at, isn't it? Because it's, you know, let's keep saying ADR reversals and H1M5, you're going to get very, very similar entries a lot of the time. In, out, propulsion gap, done. That's your H1, that's your ADR. 5-minute reversal was in there. Now, Aussie dollar CAD. So this is today. Aussie dollar CAD. Again, same thing. ADR, M5 reversal out in propulsion and support. Broken through it and held. Euro odd. ADR, 5-minute reversal out. So that was your reversal on M5 there. Not sure why I targeted that. Oh yeah, it's that high. So okay. So previous day's high was a target on that in case we bounced off the previous day high, because obviously market structure on this is broken to the upside. So we put in a low, high, higher low, higher high, anticipating a higher low, higher high. So got out there in case we bounced off into the next leg, but we didn't. Well, we are kind of out of this propulsion. So that's Euro odd and closed odd Swiss. So again, same thing, basically, really easy. ADR reversal, M5 reversal out at propulsion. Reversal that was in there with a whacking great spread again. Aussie dollar pair. Then obviously we've stalled out at the propulsion gap. So there we go. So that's ADR reversals. What, 1.6 on the month. There's nothing in trouble there. New Zealand dollar CAD is the only thing I can bank ahead of the news today. It's not far away from target, which actually isn't a lot of money, is it? It's 89. Yeah, it's about 0.3%. So oh yeah, sorry, yeah. So I've already done it. So I've put a break-even stop loss on this, as you can see. So there's, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a stop loss at break-even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this position through the news. There's no risk at all. I've banked 1% today. So because I've banked 1% today, I'm happy to take a bit more risk on this. So I'm going to put TP up there, which is going to bring me in about 0.6, 0.7%, which I'll be looking for the news to spike up to a double top. It could even go up to there. Obviously, it could go way beyond depending what happens with the news. But if it comes back down again, I'm just going to close the position with no win, no loss, just break even on it. So no risk for me. I've banked. It's just sitting there. It's either going to go or it's not, one or the other. We'll have a look at the hedging in a minute. Oh, DAX. DAX has turned into my worst enemy over the last sort of few weeks. It's just not... It's just like it's completely lost its mojo. It's been awful. I need to do an analysis actually and see what the hell is going on with this. So H1s we'll have a look at. Lee, if you are trailing, how many pipes? How many pipes? A candle. It depends on what I'm looking at, but with this US dollar CAD, for example, roughly a candle. Look at what all I do is I look at what's it been moving on average over the last couple of hours, and I just pick that ish. So this was about 10 pips. So if you were to put an ATR on here and look at what the ATR is over the last few hours, it's probably somewhere in the region of 7 to 10 pips. Pipes. There's absolutely no science in it. I want it above wherever the most recent high was, and roughly what that is. So if it carries on pushing down, it's just going to drag me down a bit. But basically, whenever you put a trading stop loss on, you're saying, I'm happy. I am happy with my care. Take me out. That's from Baymax, if anybody knows Baymax. If you've got kids, you know Baymax. So yeah, all I'm saying is basically, yeah, whatever, I'm happy, stick it in the bank. If you can get me some more, but I fully expect you not to. That's what trading stop loss is. What do stop losses do? Stop profit. So yeah. No science. I have the same problem yesterday with EU and the TP. Hit the TP 3 pips, but the broker didn't close it because of the news event. Yeah, well, if you're going to get a hit, you will never get a TP hit in news. Well, you will, but it's hard because obviously the spread is ridiculous. Tick by tick, they're adjusting it, or they're not. The software is adjusting it tick by tick to make sure they lose as little as possible during the move on the news. So, Yogi, as a beginner, and your account is probably $100 per day, how much time should I spend on the market? Well, for a start, if you've got $100, Yogi, go and work in McDonald's. Seriously, you can't trade with $100. How much time should I spend in the market? None. Which profit should I target? And I want to trade until Friday. You are very new to this, Yogi, aren't you? Sorry, I'm not being pedantic or anything. It's just you can't trade with $100 unless you want to earn like $10 a month. If you're happy to earn $10 a month and that's a lot of money to you, fine. Other than that, you're going to earn $5 to $10 a month with a $100 account. I mean, I couldn't even help you. I mean, you can't even trade 0.01 lot size with the strategies that I trade with $100. You need a minimum of 1,000 to 3,000 to get started. Minimum. And then you're going to earn a couple of $100 a month. So yeah, I don't know. I can't really help you with that. In H1M5 MRA, would it make sense to start with 0.05 lots instead of 0.01? With the market reversal alerts EA, it calculates the lot size for you automatically. You don't have to worry about it. If you're doing it manually and you want to use 0.05 lots per $1,000 instead of 0.01, that's fine. But just bear in mind you're using 5 times the risk that I would. If you're super risk hungry, go for it. But bear in mind your drawdown will probably hit 50 to 70% of your account in a squeeze rather than 20% of your account in a squeeze. If I was you, I'd get the market reversal alerts EA and let it do it automatically for you. And you haven't got to worry about it. If you've got a maximum of 5 trading pairs at the same time, if you're limiting your exposure to 5 positions, that's still very high risk. Yeah, I teach in the bootcamp to have no more than 2 exposures per instrument. Yeah, so So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, missing the pound, 14. Missing the US, 16. Yeah. So if you're limiting it to 5, yeah, obviously a higher risk would be fine. But what I would say to you, Alan Bay, is if you're limiting it to 5 positions, what are you going to do when all the other stuff that's moving massively and making us an absolute fortune, you're missing all of that profit, aren't you? Yeah. So if you limit, people always say, what pairs should I trade? Everything. You trade everything that moves, yeah? If something doesn't move, you can't make money. So look at the exposure I have here at the minute, right? If all of this goes sideways for 2 months, what do I make? Nothing. So how am I going to pay my mortgage? Yeah. If all the other pairs, there's 28 pairs, I've got 7 on here. So there's 21 other pairs. If all of those 21 pairs are going mental and everyone's clearing up on them and I'm not, what am I missing? Payday. Trade everything. Trade everything that moves. If you go on an expert in the pound US dollar, it's my thing. I'm only going to trade the pound US dollar and I am a breakout trader or a trend trader in the pound US dollar. That is my speciality. If the pound US dollar does that for 3 months, you won't take a trade. How do you live? You cannot trade a single instrument. These idiots out there that are going, we are pound yen traders. We only trade the pound yen. What if the pound yen doesn't move? Well, we don't make any money. Right. So are you doing this for real to earn money, or are you doing it to sell a brokerage or a course or something? Yeah, you can't do that. You have to trade the markets. You trade what moves. If something moves, you trade it. If it doesn't move, you don't. This is the whole purpose of these dashboards. We trade opportunities. There are opportunities at the moment on those 5 instruments because they've exceeded their weekly range. What are they going to do? Pull back. So trade them. What are these not doing? Anything. Forget them. No opportunities. Yeah. RSI. How many opportunities are there today? None. What are we doing? Nothing. What have we done this week? Traded what has given us opportunities and put money in the bank. Yeah, you trade what moves. If you want to be a gold trader, go ahead and be a gold trader, but don't come crying to me when gold goes sideways and you can't get a trade on for 6 weeks. Yeah. If you haven't got any bills to pay, no problem. If you have got bills to pay, don't be a gold trader. Yeah. Look at the markets at the minute. Yeah. If you're a breakout trader on the 4-hour time frame, what have you been doing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks? Nothing. I am a 4-hour pound US dollar breakout trader. Good for you, mate. See you down at McDonald's. Because you ain't earning any money doing this, are you? Yeah. So trade what moves. This is why we have these dashboards. They tell us what's moving. What's moving makes money. You can't make money without movement. If you limit yourself to 5 instruments, those 5 instruments, after you get into them, go into drawdown of 10% and sit there for 6 weeks, you are stuffed. Can't do it. Sorry, that wasn't a go at you. I was just saying, just point. I have to hammer that fact home because so many people say, I'm going to start position trading. Which pairs do you recommend I trade? You don't trade pairs. You trade what's moving. Yeah. If you want to limit your exposure, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I teach exposure limitation in the bootcamp. Limit your exposure. Absolutely fine. But don't limit your exposure because I'm only going to trade Euro, Swiss, Aussie, and CAD. You limit your exposure by, I've got into 2 euros, I can't take any more euros. But if the US dollar and the yen move, I will take the US dollar and the yen. Then if the Canadian dollar and the pound move, I will take the Canadian dollar and the pound. But I'm only going to take 2 of them, not 7 of them. That's how you limit your exposure. But your exposure limitation, or the number of pairs that you trade, is produced by the market movement. So if something moves, you trade it. Yeah. Once you're exposed on it, and there's another opportunity to trade it, you don't take that one, but you're already in two. But it doesn't mean you don't take more trades. Regarding the magic numbers, can they be reused on the same or different pairs after the EA finished and removed? Why would you remove the EA? In theory, you could do, but you'd need to clear down your global variables if you're going to do that. So you go F3 on your keyboard or hit global variables, and in there will be a list of variables used by the EA. You need to delete them all if you're going to start mucking about like that. The Market Reversal Alerts EA is designed to be stuck on a VPS. You stick it on all the charts you're going to trade. You leave it. You never touch it. This has been running for nearly a year. Never touch. Just sits there, runs. That's its job. It's designed to sit here and just run. Yeah, all these pairs. Every single one of them's got unique magic numbers on. Buy 23, sell 24. Buy 25, sell 26. Buy 27, sell 28. Don't touch it. But yes, you could reuse them. But if there's global variables stored with those magic numbers, with data in it, your EA, when you put it on with those magic numbers you've used before, is going to look and reference that global data, global variables, if it exists. So I would say if you're going to be the sort of person that is going to keep removing and adding, I don't know why you would, but if that's what you want to do, usually start from the end. If the last one is 99 and 100, start at 101 and 102, then you won't have a problem. That's the safest thing to do. Have you ever migrated to a new VPS with open trades on the terminals? No. How would the MARA handle it? Don't know. I honestly can't answer that question. I've never done it. Don't know why you would. I suppose if you've suddenly gone with a crappy VPS provider, yeah. I don't know. I mean, in theory, when the Market Reversal Alert CEA is initialized, it runs through and checks global variables. It has to store stuff in global variables in case your system crashes and comes back up. We need certain data stored, which it does. So that is why global variables exist. But they are also only stored for a short period of time. So when the EA initializes, it will look and see if there are any. If there aren't any, it will create them and store data. So in theory, yes, you shouldn't have a problem. One of the problems you will have if you're using automated drawdown control, though, is if you've got stuff that is in drawdown, it will redo the drawdown control. I honestly don't know because I've never done it. EAs are designed to, liken an EA to a spreadsheet. You're working away on a spreadsheet or a Word document and you haven't saved it. Yeah, if your computer crashes, you've lost it. Right? EAs are very similar. They are very dumb. So there's certain things they can and can't do, and moving VPSs isn't ideal, which is why I say go and use the VPS provider I use, because I've been using them for many, many years. I've never had a crash. I've never had a problem. I'm totally stable. They're really fast, and they're not expensive. So opinion on the DAX, short, long term. I don't do long term. Short term is wherever momentum's going. So today, short at the moment. Out the FTSE, second half taken out on the trailer. I would say we may well have done the gap fill there. So that can go anywhere today now, can't it? So go with momentum, but you won't get any momentum today ahead of the news. So it's just time. Smash that thumb, everybody. You are here for free education. The best way to help the channel is to smash the like. And then I will do the H1. Then I will do H1 hedging, which I keep saying I'm going to analyze or show you, but I'm getting sidetracked as usual. What VPS can you recommend? There's one on the website. So go to my recommendations on the website. That's the company I use. There. I mean, it's like VPSs are VPSs. Yeah. At the end of the day, all companies that rent you a VPS work pretty much in the same way, unless you go to something like Azure or whatever, but they're more complex to set up. So any VPS company is basically selling you a off-the-shelf VPS. Forex VPS, who I use, their VPSs are configured for MetaTrader to help MetaTrader run faster. They have auto updates automatically turned off. There's another company called Simply Hosting as well that do dedicated VPSs for trading. They're good. I've used them as well. But they're all pretty much the same thing. All I would recommend, if you're going with a VPS, whatever you need, double it. Just make sure you've got more power than you need, because MT4 is, or MT5, if you're using MT5, you need a dedicated server. But if you're using MT4 and you want to run 3 or 4 terminals, just get a big one, as much as you can afford. The difference between spending $30 and $80 a month on a server is $50 odd, $40, whatever. Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, it's an irrelevant amount of money. Yeah. I can make that. That's paid for my server for the next 4 or 5 months. It's irrelevant. It's more important you have firepower than you have a low cost per month for your server, because your server is basically generating your revenue. You turn that server off, you have no revenue. So it's the tool that makes me money. So therefore, I chuck as much as I possibly can into it. If you go into this company, and this is another reason I like them, they give you an idea what you're going to get with the different sizes of VPS. These are all pretty standard stuff, VPS sizes, but you can run 4 terminals on that, 7 terminals on that, 10 terminals on that. If you're planning on running 4 terminals, buy that one. Yeah, that is never, ever going to bat an eyelid. This one, if your broker suddenly squirts 10 times the data down there because non-farm payrolls come out, this one's probably going to go, hang on a minute, I can't process this. And it's going to stall, probably at a very important time. This one won't. 20 or 50, $30. 10 cups of coffee a month. Just buy that. Don't skimp. Trading computers, buy the biggest, most powerful gaming PC you can get. VPSs, buy something twice as powerful as you could possibly need. Yeah. There's only 2 things we use as traders, technology-wise, computers and VPSs. Do not skimp. They are the core of your business. Always have one of these sitting on your desk. If your internet goes, you need that. If your internet disappears and your Wi-Fi disappears, you need mobile. Yeah, always have a mobile phone on your desk. Yeah. Because if you're in the middle of a trade and everything goes down, that thing, when non-farm payroll kicks in and something spikes 200 ADR, it's going to save your life. It's what we do, isn't it? We are basically connected to a brokerage. That's our job. And it's computers that do it. So always go with more rather than less. Right, so H1 hedging banked 4.2% yesterday. Look at this, up 4.2% on the month already. Mind you, yesterday was the first day of the month, so looks good. Anyway, 2.49% drawdown. US dollar CAD is in profit, so that's going to bank today. Aussie dollar CAD as well. Stick a trader on that one. Basically, with a hedging strategy, any singles that are running, that are getting to a quarter to a 0.5% profit, I'm having them 0.8. So just going to stick a quick trailer on that one as well. When it ticks. So before the news, I went out. If you're going to carry on, go with me. Fine. But so another 0.5% getting banked today. So yesterday banked quite a lot. I'll quickly run through what was banked. Christ, there's a hell of a lot, isn't there? So euro odd, 2 positions there, that one and that one out. Reason double top. It did. Just gone short with the second position on that reversal alert. So targets to the downside. Might as well set that now while I'm here. Down here with the lows. So get out of the shorts down there. New Zealand dollar CAD. Reversal alert, straight in, straight out. Nice and easy. Got a buy on at the moment. That's a much bigger. So there's 2 positions on this one. So going to target in that propulsion gap there. That support. Pound New Zealand. Again, this is just trading reversal alerts, literally hourly reversal alerts. So out in propulsion, quick profit. Already now short again. So target that propulsion. Euro US. Got sell on. Target down there. That was the buy order. Closed out yesterday on the news at double top. Yeah, support resistance. Always support resistance. That's all there is. Support and resistance. US dollar Swiss. Out short. That was a quick in and out. Not quite sure why I took the profit off on that one, but I did. I don't know. I don't know why I put that one off there. Guess it was just a quick, easy trade. I mean, this is what I do. I just scan. I come into the accounts every now and again and I'll scan through. And if that was 0.25%, which it was about 0.2, I think, I'd just take it, just stick it in the bank. Yeah, it's the idea, isn't it? If it's in profit, bank it. Could go into loss. So pound US dollar. So that was a multi-position takeoff. So there was a few on that one taken off there. There's an old one from up there. That one out. Let's continue to push up. We've got sells on that at the moment. So second entry will be taken on this. I think if we break that high, yeah, we're not going to get into another one. So there's a sell on there from yesterday. Need to push up a bit further to be able to get another position on this because I need a reversal alert short, obviously, to get in. So this will either just carry on doing that, in which case there's nothing much we can do with it, or it will push up and be able to get the second on and get out on that one. But that was the long off. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Nice, easy in and out on that. So there was an entry on a reversal alert there and out in propulsion again. Pound yen in, out. This was just banking money because we had the news, basically. New Zealand dollar yen in and out. And New Zealand dollar US. There's a reversal alert. Exit. Just banking money, basically. Everything that gets to profit goes in the bank until it gets into trouble, and then obviously we deal with it. Aussie dollar yen as well. Got a nice lot of profit on that at the minute. It's coming back to break even. So I'll probably bank some of that. So bear in mind, we're approaching ADR on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trail that bottom position. 128. Bear in mind, everything is going to move on non-farm payroll. It always does. Whenever we get any kind of movement at NFP, everything moves. So anything you've got that's in a decent amount of money could well just completely vanish on non-farm payroll. So get it in there. So I'm going to be banking that. I'm going to be banking that, and I'll be banking that. So minimum I'm going to do today is about 1.5% on that account. FTSE DAX is hedged. I've just fallen out of love with the DAX this month. I've had enough of the DAX this month. It's only the second of the month. That's not good, is it? But in this year, basically, the DAX has just been an absolute royal pain in the arse. So bear in mind, we've got non-farm payroll. I'm not going to be looking to get out early. So ADR to the upside, ADR to the downside. If it doesn't go anywhere, just comes off as a hedge loss today, which is $126. Banked 80, so it's a $45 loss. Can't do anything with this when it's like this. Dead. Right, there we go. Currently, I'm managing 13 terminals on a dedicated server, which costs $50 monthly. Yeah, cool. Dedicated server, $50. That's pretty good. $13 terminals. Why are you managing 13 terminals? Love your EA using it the last 2 weeks. Did around 4%. Cool. Good man. That's the idea. Right. So be prepared for news today. Obviously, we're going to get a load of movement. That's a really nice short on the pound US. Look. Big rejection going in, a lot of US dollar strength coming in, but very, very surprised if we do that before non-farm. More likely we're going to do that, but looks like they don't want to go any higher at the moment, which is obvious because they haven't done for the last 2 weeks. So sell it. So yeah, bear in mind, obviously 130, it's all going to go either, it probably will go mental for a while, but whether or not we get any directional movement today, we'll have to wait and see. But that all kicks off at 1:30. So I'll be back at 2:20 this afternoon for the New York session. We'll obviously analyze what's happened with that. I don't think there'll be an awful lot to analyze because it's more a case of just seeing where they take it today. Because as you can see from the pound US, yeah, there is no directional bias in this market at the moment. And from what they've said on what Bailey and Powell have come out and said this week, there is no directional bias until May. So it's a case of, just trying to play the ranges, and any kind of strength that you see, jump on it, because it's not going to be long term at the moment. There is absolutely no reason for them to put any decent moves in because there's no directional bias. Until we get those interest rate changes, it's just a case of waiting for the first person to press the button. And at the moment, there is nobody really ready to do that. As you can see, we've got inflation ticking back up again, which means you don't put that down. We've got inflation coming down very hard, but the inflation figures are too high. And those, when they get a little bit further down, will tick back up again. So everybody's kind of like the market at the moment. Inflation is doing that. Therefore, the market is doing that because no one's doing that. So what do you do? Sit there sideways. So ADR reversals, if we're going to be in that kind of market for the next 3 months, this is the strategy that's going to pay you the most. And obviously the hedging strategy, because if it just goes up and down, this would just continuously bank money as well. But yeah, it's just one of those things at the minute. What I'm worried about with this market at the moment is it taking off when that interest rate happens and not coming back. There is a possibility of that happening. And it's really going to be dependent on the speed of this. So if they all, within a month or two, drop the rates, we'll be fine because the market will come down, because everybody will get strong and weak at the same time, which gives you beautiful structure. If the US drop first and nobody else does because their inflation does that, everything will pile up super fast against the US dollar, and it won't come back down again because the US dollar will lose its competitive advantage for interest rates, and everything will get bullish against it. And until one of these guys pushes that button back down again, you're not going to get that move. So that's what worries me at the moment, which is why I kind of like the news this week, because both of these guys have said, yeah, probably May. It'd be absolutely beautiful if they both did it the same week, because we just start doing that again, which is exactly what we want, which is what we've had for the last 18 months. But it's going to be a very tricky year. But hey, we've had a tricky 18 months with the interest rate rises. We're still here. So Shroud, which provider is that? WorldStream for VPS. It's a WordPress website. Not heard of these, but €100 a month. There's one there, €59 a month, 32 gig, 16 core, 32 thread. Fujitsu, I wouldn't use them. They can't make post office systems. A bit worried about them. These are pretty good price-wise. What happens when you stick Windows on it? $25, 25 euros extra a month. Yeah, so you got to configure it, but yeah, pretty good. Dedicated servers are always going to be a better option, but I've never had a problem with high-powered VPS. So I have had dedicated in the past, and I didn't see. The only difference is, I think, with a dedicated server, when you RDP in to the server, you see the way that went like that. Yeah, it's a little bit slower. So it's a much faster connection to a dedicated server because you're using all the resources of the server. So I find you get a faster connection that way. But as for actual processing of everything in MT4, I didn't see any difference in execution or anything on a dedicated stroke VPS. And the VPS is cheaper. So high-powered VPS, I think, is fine. But either or, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, you're looking for speed, reliability, and do not update Windows. That's it. Windows do not update. And you can't operate on Windows 2023. Yeah, Windows Server 2023 doesn't run MT4. That is a critical thing. Yeah, you've got to work on an older version of Windows. So yeah, pick one that's good. There's no right or wrong, just whatever. Good morning, January. Good profit month. Yeah, very good. I'm using the service. It's 2 years. Never faced any latency issues. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, pick whoever you want. You know, just there's a lot of VPS providers out there, a lot of server infrastructure providers out there. You know, they're all doing similar things. Customer service is important, but stability for me is the key because I don't want the thing going down, which is why I like server companies that provide MT4 specific setups, because you know that everything to keep MT4 up is there. Yeah. And the main thing is Windows Update. Yeah. But it's not hard, is it? You log in and the first thing you do is you go to updates, turn them off. Because it auto updates, it restarts the server. If it restarts the server, it shuts your terminals. You know, you're not trading anymore, are you? So that is the most important thing with any VPS, as far as I'm concerned. Right, I'll leave it there. Anything you need, let me know. I will be back this afternoon at 2:20 for the New York session. We'll have a look at what's happened with the news. Out the FTSE, DAX is hedged. So I will monitor this morning, but I'd be very, very surprised if we get any runs to ADR ahead of non-farm. So more likely non-farm will run us to ADR. So we will see. Such a bummer that 2023 isn't supporting MT4. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know much about it, but I rolled out a VPS with another provider towards the end of last year, and I logged on immediately, went straight into install MT4, and MT4 installation stopped. I was like, okay, fine, try it again. Tried a different broker, terminal, same thing. So I contacted them, and the thing that worried me about this particular company was they had to then go, because it's a reseller, they had to go to the server room and say they can't do this. The server room then had to go off and research it and come back and say MetaTrader 4 isn't compatible with Windows Server 2023. So he came back and said, sorry, we've got to reinstall your operating system. I was like, right, okay, I'm not using you. You don't even know. They were touting themselves as an MT4 or a trading server VPS company. Yeah, you don't even know that you can't run the software on the version of Windows that you provided me with. Obviously, you are not a trading server. You're just a bloke sitting in his room, set up his own little hosting company, aren't you? Basically. So, yeah. One sec. So, yeah, I'll be back this afternoon, and we'll see how we get on with the New York session. Anything you need, I'll be in Telegram. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next session. If not, Monday, 7:50, same time for Frankfurt. Have a good day.